How to create a good habit in just 4 steps. By the end of this short video, you'll know exactly how to become far more consistent with your habits, with your goals, and become far more efficient at losing stubborn body fat, lowering your A1C, and eventually achieving remission. Now, before we go any further, my name is Chris Feekins and I am a type 2 diabetic specialist. My area of expertise is helping ladies over 45, just like you, lose weight 30 to 60 pounds plus, lower their A1C, and achieve clinical remission with their type 2 diabetes and eventually get off all medication. Now, let me share my screen so you can see what I can see. There's a few key objectives here. First of all, we need to understand why motivation alone isn't enough. We need to learn how to start small and build momentum. We want to discover strategies to design your environment that support success and implement habit stacking to make new habits stick. Now, motivation isn't enough. Needing motivation to achieve your goals is a fallacy. It's a fairy tale. Motivation is a fleeting feeling. One day it's there, the next it's not. So if we set goals that rely upon motivation, when are you going to feel motivated? When is that spark going to be lit? Who knows? You could be waiting 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years. Who knows when you're going to feel motivated again? So if you rely upon motivation to get started, you're going to be waiting a long time. And if you do get started with motivation, you're probably not going to be going for very long either. Because what happens when you wake up on Wednesday morning and you don't feel like it? And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about creating habits that don't rely upon motivation. You don't need motivation to lose weight, lower your A1C, and achieve remission. And a good habit, just for context and clarity, what is a good habit? A good habit is an action, something that we do consistently that moves us closer to our goal. So individual actions, behaviors that move us one step closer to, again, dropping weight and achieving remission. Now, many people think motivation is the key to consistency, right? We've just kind of debunked that. The truth is, motivation is fleeting. One day it's there, the next it's gone. Setting goals that rely solely on motivation will lead to inconsistency, just like we've walked through. So instead, we want to focus on creating habits that become automatic, requiring less motivation over time, willpower, whatever you want to call it. Habits formed this way don't need constant motivation. They simply become part of your routine. So this is part one here. We need to understand, we need to shift our beliefs around motivation. It's not something that you need. It helps, it's fantastic, but it's not a necessity. Now, the first step to creating a good habit. To build good habits, we need to make these goals, these intentions, as easy as possible. We need to start small. For example, if you're currently walking 4,000 steps a day, do not jump straight to 10,000. Right? You're setting yourself up for failure. That might work for a few days whilst you're lit, whilst your fire is burning with all this motivation, but that's not going to last forever. Instead, aim for 5,000 steps every single day, right? A 10-minute walk, for example, right? Now, you might be thinking, what's the point in a 10-minute walk? There's a huge point. First of all, a 10-minute walk is infinitely better than a 0-minute walk. Plus, it's not just about the 10-minute walk. What it's really about is getting comfortable, consistent with that 10-minute walk, establish that as being something that you are able to do for 3, 4, 5 weeks. And then we want to compound it, add 5 minutes, or even add another 10 minutes. We want to then establish that, get that 20-minute walk feeling good, confident, consistent, and then add another 5 minutes. And before you know it, 3 months later, you're walking for 30 minutes per day and it doesn't feel hard. It's just become part of your day and it doesn't rely upon motivation. Most people, they're trying to juggle far too many balls, like you, right? You might have kids, grandkids that you're taking care of. You might be taking care of your parents or your grandparents. You might be working, chores, life admin. You're juggling all of these different balls, right? Most people try and change too much. You're already juggling 6 balls, then you're like, oh, I'm going to add another 6. Guess what? You can't juggle all of those. You're dropping them on the floor. Now you don't feel like you're doing well enough. You feel like you're failing and you just beat yourself up and you end up quitting. No, that's not what we want to do here. We want to add just 1 or 2 balls to the mix at a time. Get good at juggling these balls and then add another ball. Then add intensity, right? Dead simple, but start small. Start small. Once this smaller goal becomes consistent and feels manageable, you can increase the intensity over time. These tiny, small, incremental changes lead to lasting habits. Now, everything that we're talking about here is inspired by this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you haven't read this yet, I'd massively recommend getting that. That's what Atomic Habits refers to, is atomic, small actions adding up to be life-changing over time. And another example here is if your goal is to drink more water, start by adding just 1 extra glass per day rather than trying to double your intake overnight. It's not going to work, right? So step 1, start small. Step 2, make it specific and plan it. Vague goals lead to vague results. Saying, I want to walk more or I want to drink more water isn't specific enough to drive action, right? If we don't make it specific and plan it, what we end up doing is either relying on remembering to do it or relying on just finding the right time. And none of those two things breeds any type of consistency whatsoever. So a clear plan looks like I will take a 10-minute walk after dinner every evening, lunch, morning, whatever. It doesn't matter. Whenever you are most likely to get it done. A clear plan looks like I will drink a glass of water with every meal. When you know exactly what, when, and how you'll do something, it's much easier to follow through. So make it specific and plan it. These 2 are the most important steps, right? Obviously, this is not one of the steps to create a good habit. This is just something that we needed to cover here. This is the first step, starting small. Step 2, make it specific and plan it. These are the 2 most important steps. Now, these last 2 steps supplement it, right? And this is designing your environment for success. You can't do this with everything, but you can with a lot. Your environment plays a crucial role in supporting new habits. Make it easy to succeed by removing barriers and setting yourself up for success. Some examples. If you want to drink more water, great. Keep a large water bottle with you at all times, right? I've literally been drinking this throughout this video, right? This really helps. If this wasn't here on my desk, I would drink a lot less water, right? Just an example. Planning to move more, planning to exercise in the morning, great. Lay out your workout clothes the night before. When your environment aligns with your goals, you're far more likely to stick with them. So wherever possible, design your environment for success. And then the final step is stacking these habits. Habit stacking pairs a new habit with an existing one, making it easier to incorporate into your routine. For example, take your vitamins while having your morning coffee, take your medications while having breakfast, drink 16 ounces of water with every meal. Maybe it's even do a quick stretch routine right after brushing your teeth. By attaching new habits to something you already do consistently, you're leveraging an established routine to support your goals, right? So, really quick recap then. To create good habits that stick, start small and make it easy. Really small. Make it so easy it's almost unfailable. Be specific and plan when, where, and how you'll take action. Design your environment to remove barriers and support success. And then lastly, use habit stacking to build new routines effortlessly. And remember, what we're talking about here isn't an overnight process. Good habits aren't built overnight. Good habits aren't even built in 21, 30 days. That's just a routine, right? A habit is something you just do because that's who you are, right? And there's a really powerful quote in this book, and it is, every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. If you're watching this, you probably want to become healthier. You want to maybe become more positive. You maybe want to have more energy. You maybe want to be more mobile. You want to achieve all of these things, right? That's not just going to happen. We evolve into that person with tiny, small, little strategic habits over time. We evolve into the type of person that we need to become in order to not only achieve those goals, but keep it for life. And that starts with tiny, small action. Start small, focus on consistency, and celebrate each step forward. With time and effort, you'll create a lifestyle that supports everything that you want: health, happiness, and long-term success. Right? If you've got any questions, please do let me know. I'm here to obviously support. What I don't want you to do is to, go out into the wilderness now with all of these concerns and questions and just don't take any action on anything because you don't know what to do. So first of all, if you've got questions, shoot me a message. Second of all, I've got a pretty cool resource. If you, by the way, this sheet here, this entire sheet, you will have access to this either below, somewhere around this video, you will have access to this entire sheet. You can keep it, print it off, do whatever you want to do with it, right? But when you go onto this sheet, you can click here and you can open and you can print off and you can keep a habit builder worksheet. This here supports everything that we've just gone through, makes it easier. You can write it down, make edits on it, do whatever you want. So if you want this, go down to below this video in the description, in the comments, and you will find a link to this whole sheet. Once you go onto this sheet, you can then access this down here too. All right. So again, any questions, all you got to do, let me know. I'm here. Remember that. Lean on me where needed. Have a fantastic day, and I'll speak to you soon. Au revoir. Au revoir.